Now, this is about money also, and Dave, this will be a hot button for you. Happened on Jeopardy 2 nights ago. There was an issue, and they're saying that Ken Jennings was too lenient on one of the participants. It was a Champions Wild Card episode where they're trying to compete in the Tournament of Champions. Guy's name is Phil Hoffman from New Jersey. He hit the second daily double. He has $2,000 now, and he wanted to bet almost all of it. He bet $1,900. The category here is a brief history of time, and they go back, and here is the Jeopardy clue. He answers what many Jeopardy fans are saying. This guy answered incorrectly, and Ken Jennings kept stringing him along until he got the right answer.
An 1884 conference chose the meridian of this facility's transit instrument as the prime starting point for time zones.
What is Greenwich?
Can you be more specific?
What is Greenwich, England? What is the observatory at Greenwich?
It is the observatory, yes. I did not want to leave you hanging, Phil, but yes, that is correct. We needed the facility.
What is the third floor of the second?
That's his opponent, by the way, doing the joke at the end there.
Yeah, making joke.
Yeah. I think it was a little much to give him. Usually they just kind of.
It's a little lenient for Jeopardy.
Yeah, it
Big
was.
time.
I thought so, too. A lot of fans are upset about that.
It doesn't bother me.
Real? Well, you and Ken Jennings, man.
I like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
You and Ken.
Oh, Jim.
However,
Let me tell you, wait a minute. If Mayim Bialik had done that, you'd have been like, fire! That old switch witch.
But it clearly says, the clue
is.
clearly says what this facility. And Greenwich is just a town.
Exactly. And
In multiple cities.
when he
countries.
answers Greenwich, it should have been like, sorry, that's incorrect, you know?
I guess because they're filming. Are you not allowed as another Jeopardy player to go, no, hang on a second.
I don't
I think
so.
they edit it
I had a
out.
problem with
bet you're
that.
right.
I think if they do, they edit it out. Yeah, I'd point right at.
How many
Listen,
chances are you going to give this cat?
I watched a terrific Card Sharks.
Ooh.
Jim Perry or Bob Eubanks?
Perry.
Ooh, he's tough.
Yeah.
He turned a jack of clubs.
Eubanks had fun. Jim Perry was a bastard.
Oh, Perry was all over.
Yeah,
it
he
now.
was.
Well, let me tell you what Perry did. Now,
Is this higher or lower?
yeah. Now, if you don't know the game Card Sharks, and why would you?
It never lasted long in each of its inceptions.
No.
But I love the concept.
I do too. You have 5 cards. Now, this was in general gameplay. It wasn't the bonus round. So it was like 2 contestants, and it was you go across it. Let's say you have a 2. You have to say higher or lower than 2.
Then the next card. What is the next card?
And so, of course, you say higher.
Choosing aces or these.
The best, yeah. And so you get like an 8, and that's in the middle. You're like, I don't know, freeze. You know, a lot of times they would do that. So,
Right.
yeah, you're hoping for either really high or really low cards.
And you could theoretically run all 5.
Correct. Okay. I was watching an episode from 1977.
What else would you be watching it from?
And I only did this the other day. Okay, I'll go up on Game Show Network sometimes. Okay, this is a Jim Perry hosted game, and somebody was doing what Chris Dim just said, running it, because it was like this. It was started with a 2, and the woman goes higher, and the girl's like,
Next card
it's
is
3. Okay, just higher, and it's 4. Okay,
Ooh.
higher. Well, now we're at the very end, and it's a king. Okay, okay. Well, now she's going to go lower to
You gotta
run
go
the whole
lower.
thing. But she's been saying higher, 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 higher. And so she just kept going. She goes, higher. And Perry turns it, and it's like a 5. And he's like, yeah, you win. Well, the other woman points at her like, no, she said higher. She said higher. Well, there's an obvious edit. I mean, they just slash it,
That's how much they cared about the show at NBC. Just nobody's watching.
You see the Indian in the headdress for a moment?
We interrupt this program.
It's an obvious edit. And the host, Jim Perry, comes back and said, we've gone to the rule book here, and because she obviously meant to say lower, because it was a king, we're allowing her to say lower.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh,
Bad.
and the other woman just stood there like the original.
Furious.
Oh, and they said goodbye to her. They're like, so sorry, Susan, you've got to go.
Adios.
And she's just like, the woman said higher.
Take your turtle wax and get out.
They turn that whole wall. You can't see her. But wait, I just said.
Yeah.
She disappears.
I would have been pissed too. And she was the look on her. She like pointed at the woman. She said higher.
Shenanigans.
So she goes on a king. She said just because she misspoke. And Jim Perry said it's been determined she misspoke. She meant lower because the card was a king.
Of course, that's what she's going to say. If you add, did you mean lower? Of course, that's what she meant.
And I'm sure she did, but she said higher. You can't do that.
That's why that show didn't last.
I think you're right. That was a bad. I couldn't believe it.
Bad call.
I stood up. I said, "What?" I could not believe it. I'll only watch Bob Eubanks from now on.
Oh, absolutely. Perry's a son of a bitch. On this Jeopardy thing, though,
yeah.
I don't know how long they get to answer. I want to say it's 10 seconds.
That's probably about right, yeah.
He answered it in 10 seconds. The first time Jennings...
Oh, with prompting.
But
well, the first time Jennings is like, can you be more specific? Because that is in the name of the facility. They want the name of the facility.
Wait a minute, though. Let's listen to it again.
Okay.
All right, and then I want to give you an example here.
An 1884 conference chose the meridian of this facility's transit instrument as the prime starting point for time zones.
What is Greenwich?
Can you be more specific?
What is Greenwich, England? What is the observatory at Greenwich?
It is the observatory, yes. I did not want to leave
Now, wait a minute, Dave. What if I said to you, and the clue was this, this spot is now the highest on the East Coast, and the answer would be, let's say the answer is the Empire State Building, okay? This, and it's like famous landmarks, and you say, this spot is now the highest on the East Coast. And he says, what is New York City? And I say, more specific. And he says, what is New York, USA? And I wait, and he goes, oh, what is the Empire State Building? That's not right.
But those aren't in the name of the observatory. Those aren't in the name of the building. Greenwich is in the name of the.
Oh, I see.
Of the observatory.
So
right. So he said, can you be more specific?
No, I see.
And he said Greenwich, England. And then Jennings said nothing. He was waiting for the 10 seconds to run out.
Okay, all right.
He didn't say a word, and then he finished it before 10 seconds. I timed it.
Boy, you are in the pocket of Ken Jennings.
Sorry, I want to agree with y'all, kind of, because he did get some chances. But
man, if Bialik does that, you are
you would flame her.
Fire.
I wouldn't know because I don't watch. I don't look at that one.
You'd have no idea.
That ain't Jeopardy.
Let me tell you, this is about television as well. Sparks flew on The View yesterday.
Oh, no.
Who's on that show?
Well, Sherry Shepherd was on yesterday.
Okay.
She has her own show.
Yeah, but she was visiting The View.
They needed her.
Joy Behar was on there, too.
Right. Look, nobody's acting. No one's acting. No one's plugging anything.
I thought she left in disgust.
She did, but she went back. She had she was on with Joy Behar and the other ladies yesterday.
Behar's the star, I guess.
Well, Whoopi.
And Whoopi,
I guess. But she said, Sherry Shepherd said that she walked in once. No, she didn't do it. But someone walked into a room.
Paul Mooney.
Comedian. A comedian, Paul Mooney.
Is he still living?
No, Paul Mooney's left.
I don't think so.
Paul Mooney one
Very
time
funny guy.
walked into a room where Barbara Walters was in bed with Richard Pryor. Now, they're all dead now, so we can talk about it. So Sherry Shepherd told that story, and they couldn't believe it.
And I've never told this before. I'm gonna tell you. I told Joy that I had run into Paul Mooney, and Paul Mooney had said that he caught Barbara Walters with Richard Pryor.
She slept with Richard Pryor?
Yes, that's what Paul Mooney said. He walked in on him. And then I was like, don't tell nobody.
He walked in on
He
them?
walked in. That's what he said. He looked through the door.
All right, and there's Richard Pryor with Barbara Walters. These are two long dead but very successful big names.
Very popular, but you don't ever picture them together.
No, you do not.
Is that what you get if you did an interview with Barbara afterwards?
Who knows? Who knows? But then they went on telling
Let's go in the other room.
I thought it went very well.
I say,
Let's celebrate.
you know. Well, she said I heard Barbara Walters once say that she was really attracted to Clint Eastwood after they did the interview.
Right.
Well, he's a charismatic man,
Yes.
for sure.
Richard Pryor and Barbara Walters. Who would have thought?
We're pretty close in age, yeah?
I guess
He's
so.
maybe a little younger.
He died so young. But yes, I suppose so. But they were together, and at some point, Sherry Shepherd told Barbara Walters, I know about this.
No, but I remember this.
And I came in, I told you, and I said, Paul Mooney said he caught Barbara with Richard Pryor. And I'm like, don't tell nobody. The next day, Barbara walks in, and you go, so I'm like, so you schlepping Richard Pryor, huh? She turned around, and, Barbara's head was swivel like that, and she goes, who told you that?
She told him. She said, oh, you slept with Richard Pryor. Barbara denied it right there, but apparently Paul Mooney walked in on him.
What's Mooney doing in those two's company?
I don't know.
Open the wrong door in a hotel.
Paul Mooney wrote with Richard Pryor. He was a big writer.
They
for
were
Richard.
together. Okay.
Yeah,
So
they were friends and they were writers together, and so yeah, that's not shocking. I fully believe this.
Oh, I do too. I do. In fact,
That's so weird. You can't make this up.
right. And then Barbara Walters, apparently, this is what they talked about. She really liked Colin Powell, and she had an affair with an elected official as well.
Barbara liked a brother.
Yeah, I know. She did.
She was going out with a black senator.
Now,
it's in her book.
It's in her book, Audition. She was going out with a black senator.
Right.
Because you always used to say Barbara loved the chocolate man.
She used to love Colin.
Colin Powell was her crush.
Loved Colin Powell. She did. She loved a brother.
They're all dead now.
Behor's tiptoeing towards it too. But
she loved the brother. She loved the chocolate man, said Sherry Shepard.
She was sleeping with a black senator. Well, now we can narrow this down.
Well, that's true.
They listed. I forget his name.
Yeah, it's in her book.
Yeah,
and she had an affair
There's
with
been
him.
so many.
Yeah, she had an affair with him for some time, apparently. And they totally chronicled that. Boy, I didn't watch The View yesterday, but I wish I had.
Yeah, Barbara making things happen.
Getting around. Exactly. I thought it might just be a rating strategy.
A ratings strategy?
That was I bet you she had great pillow talk in bed, don't you think? Where she was talking with whoever, Richard Pryor.
It's in depth.
Richard Pryor, or whoever it might be. I was into that.
Amazing.
When I heard
that's
that.
the best thing that's come out of The View in a while.
I thought so, too. I thought that was really, really interesting.